Perfect. Okay. Everyone, hey, congratulations on this new film, Lumina.
Thank you so much, Gary, and thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it's always a fun sci-fi alien conspiracy film, and a lot of things are so much happening in this film. So, Gino, tell us where the original idea actually came from for Lumina.
I was like spending some time in Florida by my uncle's house, and I decided to write a movie about, you know, people's experiences with abduction and how that would affect their lives psychologically. And I was like, I want to do something like that. I want to see how people react. And, if you lost someone you love to abduction, how would you react? What would you do to get that back? How far would you go for the person that you love? And like, how far would you take it? And would you bring your friends along? And how would your friends react to that certain situation happening? So that's where I really got the inspiration for the
Wow,
movie.
excellent. Eleanor and Andrea, tell us what initially drew you that you wanted to be part of this project.
You want to go,
I was
Ellie?
waiting for you to go. Yeah, I think because it's spreads across so many genres. So as an actor, there's so much for you to get your teeth into. And it just felt like a real challenge, actually. I've never read a script like it that allowed me to kind of show so much diversity as an actor and enjoy moments of action. We were allowed to do a lot of our own stunts on this as well. So I think we're always up for kind of testing our limits and finding a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I think quite similar, but it was the genre itself. Well, there's a mix of genres overall, but on paper, when I read it, I was like, bring it on. Aliens, love it. Um, an adventure that sits at the heart of the film, love it. The romance, which just makes the stakes be like really, 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 really high, especially for my character, loved it. So it was a no-brainer.
Andrea, let me throw this question about your character Delilah, because I feel like Delilah didn't need to go on this adventure, but yet she does. Tell us about why. What's her motivation? Is it just is her friendship runs that deep?
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's really interesting because not only does she um love her friends, but she also tests her friends. She wants Her motivation is to see, because maybe her relationship with her family isn't as strong, and she always felt that her friends are her family. And I think she's just testing boundaries. She wants to see how far could she go, I think, in her relationships.
Absolutely.
And
Gino,
also,
oh,
there's
go
a beautiful young man sitting right in the middle of it all as well. Yeah.
I was Eleanor. You could throw in. Tell us about this beautiful young man that Tatiana also endorse.
Oh, this beautiful young man. I know. Yeah, I definitely think that's an element as to why, for me personally, sorry to tread on your toes, Andrea, but as to why Delilah sticks around, because especially now that Tatiana is off the scene, like, is there perhaps the potential to kind of rekindle what Delilah and Alex had in the past. But yeah, we were just, we were absolutely on a friendship level smitten with Rupert, who plays Alex. So, no rivalry there in real life, unfortunately.
Yeah, and also just to like go back to the exploration of my character, I think it was it was quite interesting because I think Delilah is also trying to get in touch with her humanity. Like, she's a high achiever in her work and stuff, and I think she wants one other motivation for her was to just be human and go on an adventure and have fun as well,
Well,
whilst having all those feelings
yeah,
for
yeah.
that beautiful young man.
Gino, from my understanding that this is a pandemic production. Could tell us about the challenges in moving this production to Morocco out of all the places in the world?
Oh wow. We had envisioned it shooting in California, Mexico, Tunisia, Greece, Malta. Um, didn't work out, but we saw that Morocco had all the different locations, the desert, the ocean, the cityscapes, everything else. Like it could double for California, because I live in LA. Um, we saw that it could give us a variety of locations, and that really presented itself like with a great opportunity to go over there and shoot. There was a cash rebate and everything else that was financially good for our production. Um, Also, it was very difficult to get over there because it was during the pandemic, and we had just come out of one of our producers got in a plane crash, and he recovered from that, and then we went to Morocco, and a lot of stuff happened in terms of like a lot of drama between like crews getting over there and people dropping off, and it created a really like interesting situation that was very difficult for us, but we got over those obstacles. And Morocco, like the crew I ended up getting with, the service production company that we work with, really came through for us at a very difficult time. I would say probably one of the most difficult times there was to shoot a movie in Hollywood was that time. 2020, my DP was Larry Smith at the time. He's a constant collaborator with Stanley Kubrick, and he went back for 4 days to London, and he couldn't come back because the second wave of COVID hit. And I lost my entire camera team, and then I shot with Raquel, and we did a great job on it. And we got some really beautiful cinematography and everything else. But we went through a lot of obstacles during that time, but Morocco had the landscapes, and it presented us with some really beautiful like shooting opportunities from the desert to everywhere else. And we're thankful that we ended up going there. I think it was a memorable experience for us.
Yes, absolutely. And I know no complaints from Andrea and Eleanor here having to, gosh, travel all the way to Morocco for during the pandemic. How was that experience? What was that country like for you both?
Oh, it's beautiful. Morocco's beautiful. The people, the colors, the food, the sky, the landscape was just incredible. You could see that in the film. And it just all of this happened at a time in our careers. I don't know about you, Ellie, but I thought that year I was like, career change. I didn't think we would like go back on set again. I thought the world's coming to an end for a while. So it was so exciting to hear that, I'm gonna shoot a film in Morocco out of all places. And I've been to Morocco before, like 5 times before shooting Lumina. It's like one of my favorite places to travel. So it was great.
Yeah, it came at quite a difficult time during the pandemic in the UK. We were just going into quite a serious lockdown. So Gino, thank you. You allowed me to escape the lockdown and just have a nice time. And there were still restrictions when we were over there. There were curfews, there was still social distancing, but we did have enough time, especially in Marrakesh. Obviously, Andrea, you'd been there before. She kind of showed me around, felt very glamorous at a time when we didn't know if we'd work again, when our friends were having to isolate at home. Very, very, very lucky.
Very grateful for it.
It was a blessing to have the actors and actresses I had, despite all the difficulties with production, and they really immersed themselves in the role, and we got some beautiful performances, thank God. But it was the most difficult time to shoot a movie in the history. I've heard that from so many of my friends in Hollywood that worked on big productions that they said it took a lot of guts for us to go out there in a foreign country at that time, that particular time, and shoot a movie.
Yes, absolutely. And Andrea, Eleanor, tell us about seeing the production set. You know, the outdoors of Morocco is great, but the indoors is also amazing. And seeing the aliens for the first time, I want to hear what was your initial reactions.
Well, Gino was very sneaky in that he didn't reveal anything to us before we arrived. So we kind of knew what was coming. Obviously, we'd read the script. We knew we were in for some sort of treat. But in the interest of getting some authentic reactions out of us, he really almost until he said action on the first take, we hadn't really seen anything. But it was just it really was amazing. Gino and his team and David, who was the set designer, did such an incredible job of absolutely transforming these sound stages, these enormous sound stages in the middle of Ouazzazate, in the middle of the desert. And it was, you know, it was 360. You didn't just turn around and suddenly the experience ended. You were there, you were in there. It just felt so real.
Yeah, it was incredible. I remember the first time Gino walked us on set, like in those studios. I was like, what? How long did it take you to do this? David, what an incredible guy. And yeah, he did a great job. And you know, you, Gino, teaming up with him.
Thank you.
What a great idea. What a great idea. What a beautiful production.
It's actually, sorry to interject, but it's actually the biggest indoor sets ever built in the history of Africa.
Wow.
So Star Wars with George Lucas built the biggest exterior sets in Tunisia, but we have the biggest indoor sets on sound stages in the history of Africa for any sci-fi movie ever built. Over 50,000 square feet of sets.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe that. It was enormous.
Incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And the level of detail, and also to be around the aliens, it was just so it was so intense. It was so intense. It was so intense. And
Anxiety.
yeah,
I
oh
heightened
my
their
God.
anxiety with the aliens, you know. The sheer sides of the aliens and like, you know, but you know, if you're doing that, you're gonna go into alien movie, you gotta do practical effects, you gotta do visual effects, and you know, combining both really like full experience.
Most excellent. Gino, let me throw this one major last question to you. The debate of CGI versus practical effects. You use both in this film. Tell us about that.
Wow, there's always been that big conversation because you know I work with Todd Masters who did Predator, you know, with John McTiernan and a number of other movies. He did the entire Predator series, and it's really a labor of love gig working with practical creature effects because you have to. It's so important to get it right. So important to get the details right and like you know everything from the animatronics to everything else. And you know the debate is, oh, do we go CGI? Do we go practical? And you know to tell you the truth that you gotta mix both. Even if you shoot practical suits, you gotta enhance with VFX and CGI. It really helps, you know, even you know with the whole like you know from like motion tracking to mocap to everything else, motion capture like you know is really necessary in movies right now, as well as the practical effects. You gotta blend both. I think both of them have their place in movies. Both of them play a very critical role in terms of like the filmmaking process, and both of them are extremely hard to execute if you don't have the right team to make sure they look good. Because you know you got to make sure it look believable. And practical effects can do that with animatronics, but also CGI with motion capture and performance capture. You know, and they're doing overlays on suits and everything else. So I give my hats off to like you know my creature team, you know, for the practical effects, and also my VFX team for coming in and making sure that you know the aliens and everything else are great. But yeah, I love the experience. It was my first time working with creature effects on set, and it was a very memorable experience. But I'm an advocate for both.
Well said. Well said. And just to wrap up, you know, this film is full of conspiracy, alien conspiracies, UFOs, Men in Black. But there was one conspiracy that I could not wrap around my head. So I'm going to ask Eleanor and Andrea first what you think it is, and then hopefully Gino could step in on what the truth is. How does Alex afford such a big house in this film? I want to hear it from you two ladies first.
The financial game, the financial realm. Woo!
Okay, what is it? What it's not? Maybe he's a nepo baby, or is it?
Maybe
I think there's some family money, and that's not why my character is with him. We're in love, but it doesn't hurt.
Do you know, you want to tell us the truth, or are you going to take that to your grave?
He's spoiled. Let's just leave it as that gig. He's spoiled. He's very spoiled. And the reason why I want to leave some mystery and ambiguity to that, because I had written a sequel, like half of a sequel for the movie, and it kind of delves into that backstory of Alex.
Well, there we go. So technically, the conspiracy theories are still ongoing. Congratulations. Thank you for carrying this conversation with Lumina. Have fun at the premiere this Friday. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gig.
Thank
It was an
you.
absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. Take
Nice
care.
Nice to see you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Nice to see you. Bye.